in the cold embrace of the underworld. A name echoes through the barren, desolate peaks, Sisyphus. His legendary sin, to cunningly defy the gods and cheat death. Such audacity exposed Olympus's terrible secrets, earning him eternal scorn and divine wrath. His punishment, an eternal burden, a torment designed to shatter his spirit. For eternity, Sisyphus was bound to the relentless, unending task of pushing a colossal boulder up a steep, unforgiving mountain. Each time, just as he neared the summit, the stone would roll back down, forever out of reach, forcing him to begin anew. This was the precise decree of Zeus, king of the gods, and the cunning design of Hades, lord of the underworld, a punishment meticulously crafted not just to exhaust his body, but to shatter his very spirit, deliberately draining every last ember of hope from his soul. It was an ultimate test of cosmic futility. Yet, what if the gods had gravely miscalculated? What if the gods had gravely miscalculated? What if they failed to account for the potent, defiant spark dormant within the mortal heart? The very human will to find meaning, even in the deepest abyss of despair. Imagine those agonizing first millennia. Sisyphus, burdened by the crushing weight, sweat stinging his eyes, cursing the gods with every strained, ragged breath. His muscles burned with endless torment. His once defiant resolve slowly, relentlessly eroded. He became a hollowed shell, consumed by futile suffering. But then, a shift began to stir within him. A subtle, almost imperceptible change in his posture. A change in the very way he engaged with his eternal burden. The grimace that once twisted his features was less a desperate cry of agony. It became more a mask of profound, almost surgical concentration. He was no longer just suffering, he was observing. Each straining movement became a deep meditation. A singular focus quieted the chaos in his mind. Each deliberate push became a life-giving breath. The desolate mountain, once his inescapable prison, transformed. It became instead his grand stage, his personal universe. Here he alone dictated the terms of his engagement. Up on Mount Olympus, the great hall of the gods remained vibrant with divine light. Yet a strange unease rippled through the immortal assembly. A disquieting whisper suggested something was wrong with their perfect punishment of Sisyphus. Zeus, king of the Olympians, throned in gold and crackling lightning, watched through swirling, scrying mists. He saw Sisyphus, but there was no terror in the mortal's eyes, no despairing anguish, only a focused, almost serene determination, an unflinching resolve that utterly defied divine expectation. It baffled the king of the gods. Even Hades, in his shadowed realm, felt a shift. Sisyphus' endless labor, once a mournful lament, now carried a steady, purposeful rhythm through the depths. It was a beat of quiet endurance, a pulse of persistent will, unlike any he had ever heard from the damned. The gods had prescribed the ultimate, meaningless task, an inescapable void of purpose designed to break the mortal spirit. But Sisyphus, with defiant humanity, began to fill that void. He crafted his own meaning, brick by metaphorical brick. With each precise movement, in every focused breath, he reclaimed his existence from fate. He began to like the rock, not in the fleeting way a man might appreciate a prize or a pleasure. No, his was a deeper, more profound connection. It was the way a master craftsman appreciates the subtle resistance of his most cherished tools, or how a dancer knows the intricate flow of their body, a respect born of mastery, a profound understanding. The boulder was his constant companion, his formidable challenge, his personal canvas upon which he etched his very being. Each deliberate push was a moment of pure existence, a tiny, self-contained battle won, a fleeting victory only to be immediately reset, offering the promise of another perfect repetition. This cycle defined him. He found a profound, paradoxical joy in the sheer physical exhaustion, in the simple, brutal, and honest act of exertion. His muscles, once screaming instruments of torment, now became finely tuned instruments of hard-won freedom, perfectly calibrated to his unending task. The thunderous descent, once a crushing symbol of failure, was no longer defeat. Instead, it became a rhythmic prelude. A vital pause. It was a moment of calm anticipation before the next satisfying ascent. An eager readiness for the next perfect interaction with his stone. A renewed beginning. This desolate mountain, this cold stone, this endless sky above, this was now his undeniable domain. He was the solitary master of his eternity, a sovereign king of his own making. With every push, he crafted profound, personal meaning, a place where the gods had ordained only a crushing void of purpose. The mighty gods, in their immense power, had sought to impose eternal, soul-crushing torment upon a defiant mortal. Yet Sisyphus, through his radical, unwavering acceptance of his fate, had inverted their curse entirely. He had transformed his eternal punishment into an eternal, self-directed purpose. A profound act of spiritual alchemy, his punishment became his singular, magnificent art. His ancient curse, a curious form of grace. He had taken the ultimate meaningless task ever conceived. With sheer will, he made it the indispensable center of his world, his singular reason for being. This was his triumph. In that moment of profound, absurd joy unfathomable to the gods, Sisyphus transcended his fate. Becoming more than merely human, he didn't just endure the rock. He became one with it, an inseparable entity, a titan of self-made purpose standing firm against what the gods had intended as a cruel cosmic joke. He embodied defiance. Up on Mount Olympus, the boisterous halls grew quiet. Divine laughter faded into unnerving silence. For what true power, what real authority could even the mightiest Olympians hold over a mere mortal who had discovered profound paradise, not an escape, but within the very confines of his own personal hell? Their dominion was challenged. Sisyphus, still pushing, still ascending, proved an eternal truth to the universe itself. He demonstrated that even in the face of an indifferent, uncaring cosmos, true, undeniable freedom is not found in frantic escape from one's burdens. Rather, it is discovered in the radical, transformative choice to utterly, defiantly love the rock and to find purpose in the endless repetition. After Sisyphus' secret, how meaningless labor came his divine purpose. What would you do first in that situation? Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching. Drop a like if you liked it. Drop your thoughts and suggestions in the comments.